Hey all, good morning and welcome to ShareTreck. Um, well, today is an interesting day. It's a Star Trek day, and as a fan of the Star Trek series or as a Trekkie, I thought I'll just do the honors. So that's why we had that caption out there. Happy Star Trek Day. And that said, markets are kicking off the week with a cautiously optimistic tone. US stock markets are rising as investors digest latest Friday's disappointing jobs report and look ahead to pivotal inflation data. So bad news is good news kind of situation still prevails. And I personally think that once the rate cut is announced, it will be buy the rumors, sell the news situation. The recent spike in Fed rate cut expectation is breathing some life into typically bearish September trading, with pundits noting this could be the year that September's curse is broken if monetary policy tilts dovish enough. And in terms of the headlines that I'm looking at, I'm seeing soft labor market data from last week, just 22,000 jobs added, unemployment ticked up, and that has solidified bets on a Fed rate cut at the September 17 meeting. Some are even calling for 3 cuts by year end. And all these cuts are coming because the economy is in a bad shape. And that should not be something to be cheered about, but that's exactly what is happening. And global oil and commodity stocks are in focus after Canadian energy M&A news with Cenovus Energy and continued volatility in Middle East supply headlines. And one of the things that Donald Trump is pushing for is for India not to buy Russian oil and others not to buy Russian oil. If the Russian oil is taken out of the equation, Iranian oil is also out of the equation, then it makes oil very expensive, and that could also help the inflation. So I don't know what the mad policies are, but things are not looking that great from the policy side either. And French and Japanese leadership changes have also happened. This has heightened US election uncertainty and adding another layer of confusion and caution to the financial markets and also to the deal sentiment. And inflation takes center stage this week as the economic calendar is all about inflation. First, we have the producer price index on Wednesday, September 10th. And then we have the consumer price index on Thursday, September 11th. Jobless claims also dropped Thursday morning, giving a fresh read on labor market health. So the annual CPI is seen nudging higher towards 2.8 to 2.9%. If inflation comes in hot, it could cool the market enthusiasm for rapid rate cuts. But if the numbers are tame, the odds for a cut and continued risk on trading will grow. Money managers will also be watching this week's S&P Global Investment Manager Index for sentiment and supply chain volatility stats for clues on rotation and trade flows. During the weekend, I have been looking at some information which says that the CTAs are fully invested. So if they are fully invested, what are they going to do? Are they just going to hold? Or are they going to book the profits and start selling? That's another thing I'm watching. And while September is historically the toughest month for the stocks, averaging a 0.5% dip or worse, Fed action has historically flipped the script, producing gains in rate cut years. The greatest risk, I think, is a surprise spike in inflation or geopolitical news that resets the narrative, leading to a drawdown in asset prices. For now, momentum remains positive, with tech, energy, and financials leading pre-market moves. So that's the backdrop at which, with which I'm looking at the markets. And I would like to proceed to have a look at the indices and see if I can get any clues of whatever sort. But personally, as a retail investor, I'm totally lost because, as you guys know, I've been a perma bear for the last 3 months. And I'm thinking that today the market will change or tomorrow. But it's been going sideways. Now, the sideways could also mean that market movers are slowly disposing of their holdings, trying to maintain the bottom of the market. And once they are done selling a good portion of theirs, then I think there will be no support for the market when the selling begins. And I think that could probably change the market. If you guys have a different thought about it, please put it in the comment section. I would be really happy to consider that, because something should explain this exuberance in the face of it. I mean, one of the commentators said, whistling past the graveyard. So that's what it sounds like to me. Hey, good morning, hot dog. Good evening, hot dog. Thanks for joining us. Now, let's go on to the TradingView platform. Let me set this out for the trading view platform. And let's look at the one-day chart for S&P 500 futures. We are back trying to test and move past the diagonal line of the parallel channel, which has been with us for a very long time. As you can see, this goes on for a long time. And I had hoped that this diagonal line is going to be a curb on top of this market. But as you can see here, we have already moved above it in the morning trade. And therefore, I think that we are going to find resistance maybe somewhere around 6,540.25, and we may find support at around 6,475.75 today. But remember, MACD is bearish. And market sentiment is also very bearish, but everything is based on the momentum that's happening. And same is the story for NASDAQ also. We have a resistance, which is supposed to be at 23,761, but we are already at 23,775 in the pre-market trades. So I think our support is going to be 23,773.25. So I've already converted that color from red to green, and that's going to be our support for today, failing which I think we will go further and probably get a support today at around 23,581. So that's the range in which I think the market is likely to move. On the top, I think we'll have a resistance of 23,905. Then dollar index is starting to move down. Of course, that means the gold is going to continue to move up. And surprisingly, our long-term yields are starting to go up. They came down earlier because of the fact that Fed would cut the rates. Now, the bond market in the long term is probably giving the message that it doesn't buy the rate cut business because it doesn't suit the current economic situation. Maybe that's what it is saying. I really don't know. But I'm looking at the Canadian 5-year bonds, and I'm happy with what I'm seeing. We had plotted a target which will take us to 2.682, and we are traveling in that direction, which is good for the Canadian housing market, and that will give a little bit of a breather to Canadian economy. Now, that said, let's go on and have a look at the indicators and see where S&P 500 is. S&P 500 will have a resistance today at 6,638.20, and it's going to have a support somewhere around 6,442. So that's the range for S&P 500. Again, market sentiment is bearish, MACD is bearish, and momentum is above average. So everything is based on the momentum that we are still going up. And let's look at NASDAQ, same story out here. And we have resistance at 23,622.35, which was already cleared yesterday. So this becomes a support. And I think the resistance is likely to be somewhere in the region of 23,973.96. That could be the resistance. Now, VIX is also up 1.71% today at this point of time. And VIX going up always brings stock prices down. It's a measure of volatility. Gold, as expected, is continuing to march upwards. Will it really go and meet our target of 3,892? That's what I'm watching. So our first obstacle is going to be somewhere around 3,746.89, which is the resistance for today. But the march is definitely that way. I have got ZGLD, which has accumulated a lot of gains. I'm holding on to it. The sentiment for gold is absolutely bullish. MACD is super bullish. Momentum is above average, and RSI has already gone past where it has been in the past. I'm just going to go back in the past and see how far up we have been on the RSI. So I have this green line that I've drawn out here, which is going to become a red line of resistance. And the question is, are we going to be able to beat that? So there is still some room for gold to go up, and then it needs to consolidate, cool off, and then go up again. And I think that will be the right direction for it to go. Next, I'm looking at QQQ. And in QQQ, I can see that we have a gain of 0.38% in pre-market trades. We are at 578.24 in pre-market trades. I'm going to take this diagonal line further, move it up. And I would say that for today, we have resistance at 582.29. That's going to be our resistance, and our support is going to be 575.28. So that is this line, this green line out here, which I've just marked green. So those are the 2 points that we are looking at. And so let me also put a resistance out here and mark that red. And this resistance is going to be 583.15. So that's what we got there. And what else do we have? Well, let us go to put call ratio. Put call ratio looks very bullish to me. And I don't know what justifies this bullishness, but that's where we are. Let's go on to AI. NVDA is up 0.53% in pre-market trades, and it's going to have a support at 165.85, and it's going to have a resistance at 174.04. And we have Meta, which is also up 0.28%. Support is going to be at 737.07. And I think our earliest resistance is likely to be at around 774.62. Google is up again 0.48% after this gap up. I think it needs to trace down the gap up. It has already met and exceeded our earlier targets, but I think it should be on its way back down given the overall market sentiment. However, that's not happening. So I think we'll have a support at 226.38. This is going to be our first support. And I'm going to mark this as green. And let's go on to Amazon. Amazon also has a bearish market sentiment. MACD is just about bullish. Momentum is above average. It's up 0.55% in pre-market trades. It's going to face a resistance at 241.72. Right now, we are at 233.60. And our support, I think, would come somewhere around 231.10. Apple is up 0.09%. Apple is looking quite weak, but the market sentiment is bullish. MACD is bullish and momentum is above average, and RSI is pretty overbought, but there's plenty of room on the RSI to go up. Now, if you look at Microsoft, it's up 0.77% after having given up gains, a whole lot of gains, let us say from here to here, we are looking at a loss of around 10.58%. So there's a little bit of consolidation happening. We have our support at 498.18 right now. Microsoft is at 498.75, and our resistance is going to be 514.06. Tesla is going super, and it's up 1.36%. And I don't think anything justifies this kind of a jump, but that's where we are. And my TSLQ are suffering. So the expensive lesson I have learned is don't go by fundamentals alone. If the market is going against the fundamentals, just participate in the market, very agile. Just be ready to get out when the things turn around. I have lost a lot of opportunities to make money in this market for the last 3 months, and I have suffered a lot of pain because my shorts are in deep red. So this is going to be really bad for me if the market doesn't turn around soon. So I will most probably sell off a little bit of my FNGD, which is the FANG shorts. I'm going to book losses. Even if I sell 100 shares, it's going to be big loss. But I'm going to do that today because it will be foolish to stay in the shorts while the market has got such huge momentum, and the rate cuts are still at least a few days away. And in that period of time, the market can go up even more. And I am pretty sure that this is going to be buy the rumor and sell the news. After the rate cut, the markets are likely to drop. That's my feeling. But right now, momentum is very strong. I don't want to fight the momentum. So I'm going to sell off a little bit of my shorts and probably go long on something with the very clear idea that at the end of the day, I'm going to sell it regardless of whatever the situation. So that's what I'm planning to do. Guys, give me your feedback. This is a retail investors channel. We are not like the experts doing the videos out here. I want your feedback as well. So if you have some insights, please share that with me. Oracle is up 2.57%. I think fundamentally this is a really good stock and it's got to move up further. I think the resistance for today is going to be somewhere in the range of 241.60. That's where I think our resistance will be. And our support is going to be this green line out here. For today, it's a dynamic line. So the support is at 227.63. Then we have AMD. AMD is down 0.01%. I have this potential target for the double top, which is at 143.81. Whether we are going to meet that or not is a question, because NVDA shows positive in pre-market trades, and AMD should also follow the same direction, unless there is something specific that is bearish for AMD that has come out in the news. I don't see any such thing. So I'm thinking that probably there will be consolidation for AMD, but this negative may not last long if NVIDIA continues to be positive. So with that said, let us look at SMCI. SMCI continues its downward movement, but today it has a positive of 0.64%. We had a bear flag which showed that we were going to be reaching a target of 33.23, and today we have a minor bear flag within this, which I can show you here. So this is the flagpole and this is the flag, and it has to break down on the downside. That is what is the highest probability. If it breaks down on the downside, it will get a support out here at around 37.25. It will also get a support at 39.35. So those are the two supports, and the resistance continues to be 42.84. Overall market sentiment is bearish, MACD is bearish, and momentum is also below average. Now go to AVGO, Broadcom, it's up 1.41%. The huge climb that they had, that has what pushed up everything, but there's a gap fill to be done. And we have a huge red candle out here showing this sell-off where people did a lot of profit booking. So we are on the way back, I believe. This gain of 1.40%, I would like to see if it can sustain after market open. Palantir is up 0.44% in pre-market trades. This is a bear flag. It is consolidating. It has not yet broken out on the downside, but bear flags typically break down on the downside, and the support in that case is going to be 144.93. I think a resistance for this is going to be 162.11. So that's the range we are looking at. SMH, semiconductor ETF, it's up 0.36%. But if AMD continues to move down and NVIDIA turns around, then I think we'll see it come down, and also Broadcom profit taking can continue. If those things happen, it could come down. And for the head and shoulder pattern, we had a target of 262.81. I'm still holding on to that target. Let us see what happens when the market opens. Tempus AI is up 0.46% in pre-market trades. I think it will get a resistance at 81.34. Right now it's at 79.99, and support for it could be around 73.66. So that's what I'm seeing there, my friends. And let us go and have a look at FNGD, how much more it has fallen. Yeah. It's down 0.07 cents. So yeah, things are not looking that great. It's not as bad as it was in the past. So I think I'd sell some today and book the losses and wait for things to move up. I also have SMCZ, which had gained a little bit, but it's down 1.21%. So we'll have to see what happens out there. I also have S&P 500 shorts, which is SH, and I have WIT. So that's the stake that I have right now. Let's go on to have a look at our genomic stocks. Prime is up 1.61%. It's moving to the upper edge of the bull flag, and I'm hoping that it could break through this and move upwards. Right now, the resistance for today is going to be 3.84. We are at 3.78. Another 6 cents, and we'll be in the verge of breaking out from here. If we break out, then we have to retest and prove that this diagonal line is going to be a support and then move upwards. That's what I'll be looking for. Overall market sentiment is bearish. MACD is turned bullish, and momentum is also picking up. So the market sentiment has to move in line. So that's what I'm expecting out there. Intelia is up around 1.13%. We have a resistance at 12.28. Pre-market, we are at 12.22. So if we break through this resistance, I think we'll have to wait and see if we can confirm about this in order to make sure that this becomes a base and we move upwards. So that two tests are still there. And I think our support is going to be 11.36. Caribou Biosciences is flat in pre-market trading. Beam is up 0.24% in pre-market trading. And we have this support at 19.06. Right now we are at 20.93. I think we have two supports which I'm going to mark green. It's a very good move. Market sentiment is also turned bullish. MACD is also bullish. Momentum is above average. and we are reaching the overbought area. If we go somewhere around 75.29 on the RSI scale, right now we are just on 68.03. So I think Beam could gain a little more if the overall market is positive. Altimmune is flat in pre-market trades. It's been moving upwards, and we had a target for 4.21. I would hope that it travels in that direction. Editas is up 0.36%, and we have a support out here, which is this diagonal line of support. And today, that support is very strong, coinciding along with the diagonal line of support from the parallel channel, which was earlier a resistance. So I'm looking at a price point of around 2.63 to be the support. It's a very strong support, and I'm going to change this color into green to show the support. And our resistance today is going to be 2.82. Right now we are at 2.77. Illumina is down 0.02%. We have a head and shoulder pattern, which has to trigger. We have a resistance out here for today at 99.33. Right now we are at 98.91. Let's see what happens when the market opens. CRISPR Therapeutics is up 0.15%. And we have a support at 53.19. I'm going to mark this as a support. Now, we have a head and shoulder pattern which was triggered and which should have given us a target of 40.81. So I'm going to wait and watch what happens today. I'll also pull this regression channel further and show that we have a resistance at 97.86. Allogene is up 1.74% in 1.74% in pre-market trades. We still have a resistance at 1.36. Right now it's at 1.17, and I think an immediate resistance at 1.27 is warranted. Market sentiment is bullish. MACD is bullish. Momentum is above average. So I'm expecting Allogene to pick up a little more. Grail is up 0.14%, and I think we have this minor line of resistance, which is going to be active at 37.64. Pre-market, we're at 36.96. So 37.64 is the first line of resistance, and our support is going to be 31.98. PSEB is up 0.79%. Support continues to be 1.21. Resistance continues to be 1.44. ARCG is up 0.20%, and we have support, which is going to be this minor line of support, and it's going to be at around 24.64. And our resistance is going to be somewhere around 25.63. Right now we are at 25.57. So that's what we have out here. Vertex is at 0.11%. Hey, hot dog, thanks, live long and prosper. Maybe Spock was against shorting the market. I guess so. Logically thinking, he would say, don't let your emotions rule, go with what logic dictates. And maybe logic was dictating that we should follow the market momentum. Yeah, thanks for that one. That really cheered me, that picked me up. Okay, let's look at what's happening with Vertex. Vertex bearish sentiment is coming to an end, and MACD is bullish. Momentum is below average. Vertex is down 0.11% in pre-market trades, and we have a target for 425.03 for the bull flag that we had, and then we created a bear flag and we canceled the bear flag. So Vertex is all over the place. So I don't know what's happening out here, but I would venture to say that we have a resistance at 414.11, and I think our support would be at around 390.80. With that said, let's look at Ginkgo Bioworks. It's up 0.09%. I'm invested in Ginkgo Bioworks. It's at a loss. I was banking on the bull flag, and the bull flag did not happen. So I think it's time for me to unwind from Ginkgo Bioworks. Overall market sentiment is bearish, MACD is bearish, and momentum is also below average. So instead of waiting for it to break down, I'm just going to sell it today and book my losses. Today is going to be a loss booking day, and it's also ShareTreck day. Star Trek day. So here we are. So Unicure is down 0.33%. It has got resistance at 18.51. And I think it will have a support at around 17.54. So 17.54 is the support for Unicure today. I'm going to look at Precision. Precision is up 0.46%. I still have 250 Precision. It's at profit. And I'm thinking that I should probably look at booking that profit and taking my money, because the bullish sentiment is also waning. MACD is tending towards the signal line. Momentum has also come from overbought down to around 70% area. So today I'll take a decision on Precision. And we also have RAR, which I'm looking at. Now, this company is likely to be profitable. I bought 100 shares of RAR. So I'm looking at this share pattern today. Market sentiment is bullish, MACD is bullish, momentum is also above average, plenty of room for it to go up on the RSI. Pre-market, there have been no trades. So I'm thinking RAR could be my next ticket. So I'll clean out of Precision, wait for RAR to pick up. So that's the strategy in the Genomic side. So friends, that is my roundup for today. Happy Star Trek Day to all of you. Live long and prosper. And for the live long and prosper, I need to be here. So I would say that you should live long and prosper. And I hope that the market turns today. Some of you who are very bullish will say, Raj, don't jinx it. But personally, I'm all shorted. So I hope that the market finally comes to senses and turns around today or on the day of the Fed decision, and I can get some relief. So with that, my friends, I'd like to end this session today. Thanks to those who tuned in. Bye for now.